What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. We are here for another Monday reading. It's been pretty chill so far. Just this past Sunday, we had daylight savings time begin. I'm pretty sure spring is when it begins. That would make sense, so make sure we're setting our clocks forward. We might be starting off the week on a bit of a rough foot if we miss some of that sleep. I know I did, but hopefully we'll be able to catch up a little bit before our work weeks start. So yeah, here we are. The energy's pretty good. I think I have some interesting perspectives coming in going into this week, but I'm interested to see how the cards kind of influence where we're going and where we're heading, what we should be looking for, maybe kind of talk to us about the energy that we are going into with this week and how we can use that to the best of our abilities moving forward, and maybe get a little glimpse at what's to come at the beginning of this week. As you guys know, if you are familiar with the content of the channel, I normally do a 3-card reading, just kind of like a past, present, future, or sort of like a energy going into the week, how we can manipulate that into our favor, and maybe kind of like an outcome. That's another way to look at just kind of the basic 3-card spread. And sometimes I pull a clarifying card, and I have my little crystals sitting out, and this one is the one that's just kind of catching my eye. I have to put it really close and then kind of pull it away. I'm not exactly sure what the name of that crystal is. I got it in kind of a bundle. I think it starts with a CH, if I remember, but I can't remember. It was a pretty long name. Ooh. Put that on mute real quick. Don't need to be getting interrupted. So yeah, that is just kind of the basic. You don't really need to know the name of it. Just kind of look at it, see if it sparks any interest. It's more about the color to me, just kind of the basic energy that I'm getting from that crystal, as opposed to like the name and its distinct properties. So with that being said, let's move forward. I decided to wear my glasses today, but it's kind of catching in the ring light, if you can see. I look kind of like an alien. But that's okay. I think it's a little bit fun, right? Part of why I like this YouTube channel is the costume changes, so it's an exercise in aesthetics. Alright, with that being said, let's pull the first card. I like to fan through, but sometimes if I'm just kind of like thumbing through and I don't feel like I get the card that I want, I'll just shuffle a little bit again. This one? Yeah, we're gonna go with this one. Alright guys, so the first card of the day, and I guess the first card of the week, which is going to kind of tell us the tone we're setting off this week with, is the Queen of Wands. There we go. We actually got this card last week, and it's interesting. I feel like I've been pulling a lot of similar cards, but the thing, that's part of why I stuck to fanning out as opposed to just like direct shuffling, because I'm always kind of concerned that like my hands are picking the same card, so that's why I kind of like to do the fan out and just like feel, because as you can see all the cards look exactly the same, so it's not like there's like weird things. So I guess it really is, it wants you to be reminded of kind of that message from last week. I remember we were called to look at the black cat and see kind of what that represents, and just look for the obvious messages. Maybe it has to do with a physical cat in your life. Check on their health, make sure you're giving them plenty of love, and make sure maybe it's a call to adopt a cat. Maybe some of you are looking for an animal. Maybe you were looking for a dog and got called to a cat, and you're not sure about that. You're not sure if you're a cat person or the kind of person who could get along with that kind of energy, and this might be a calling to move forward with it, because it's about the vibe. It's not so much about the animal itself, it's about the energy that that animal is giving off to you. So maybe this is the beginning of the week to give you that kind of like cat feline energy. Another thing that it's I'm getting really called to that, as opposed to last time when we were getting more the energy of the person and the message. I'm getting very called to talk about like the feline energy. So I feel like moving forward, you kind of want to be it's kind of like a slick, it's a flowy energy. Maybe it's a little bit self-involved. Maybe we're starting off this week a little bit self-involved, just kind of feeling ourselves. You know how cats are. They're kind of like they're kind of this they're like there's a reason they're important so much throughout human history, and it's because they kind of represent this complementary image of what the human ego likes to see of itself. Cats are very self-preening, they're very independent, they're very, they come across as very like well put together, very beautiful creatures. They're kind of that self-flattering image of the self-preening narcissist. So they come across that, and I think that's very flattering to the human ego. So maybe this is the time of the week that you just kind of play into that, do a little bit of pampering. Don't shy away from coming across maybe a little self-involved. That's okay sometimes. You want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Just before I started this reading, I did a full like face ritual, beauty ritual, took a shower, got ready. I did a full face mask. So I think that maybe just kind of the energy we're going in with this week, just that kind of like cat life, pruning. You get yourself together. Maybe don't be afraid early in this week. Maybe give yourself a little pampering night. Take a nice bath, bathe with some crystals that are water appropriate. I never put them in the bath. I don't want to mess with them at all, and I know some crystals you can't put in water, but I like to put them around. I'll light some candles, I'll put some Epsom salts, maybe a couple bags of like a rose tea or a green tea. So yeah, let this just be kind of a message to luxuriate a little bit. I think you deserve it, and I think it would be a really good way to kick off this week. Don't be afraid to pamper yourself, I guess, is the message coming through. Okay, so we have the black cat as the first image, so I'm going to shuffle just to make sure we're not pulling too many of similar cards, but because I'm seeing that black cat right there, I know a lot of people have been talking about the new Scream movie coming out, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle, and then we are going to pick the 13th card from the top, because I think that would be a little fun. I don't normally do that, but like I said, I like to mix up shuffling sometimes, and that's just kind of what's calling to me. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then we're going to do 13 more to give us our last card. $11, $12, $13. We're going to put those back in here. Shuffle these a little bit. And now let's move forward with the energy. This is kind of your present card. This is may have to do with exactly like this Monday specific energy, or it may just be kind of the card that informs you, kind of like gives you your choice, like kind of often acts as like this bisecting force of whether you follow this card's advice or you don't. It's going to have the biggest outcome on the beginning of your week and just kind of where you are moving forward. So with that, we have the Empress. There, almost, so close. So close. Well, that might be the best we're going to get on that one. So again, we have this very, we're coming in hot with this just kind of like feminine, nurturing energy. You can see she's kind of sitting on this field of wheat, sitting on your harvest. She has that little feminine, the heart symbol, I believe that's Venus, and it's on an actual heart, so the imagery is very specific there. She has her little star crown, she has her little scepter, which kind of resembles the moon, so she's this very balanced feminine figure. She's very receptive, she's very nurturing, and I think that's, again, kind of the thing we're going to be seeing a lot of in the beginning of this week, is your willingness to nurture yourself, nurture your hobbies, nurture your physical body. Maybe that looks like doing something like taking a bath. Add milk to the bath. That's what's coming to me. Make sure you put a little bit of milk in there. That's a very that's always a very luxurious thing to do. and maybe that's what I'll do. So I think this kind of is embodying that sort of goddess energy and your willingness to luxuriate. So this is really calling you. It's really confirming the message of the last card that your week is going to be shaped by your willingness to do this or not. Do you actually take the time to do something you want to do? Is there a book you want to do? Maybe make your bed, clean your room, get it all nice, light a candle, and just spend some time reading a book. Take some time to yourself. That's the biggest message for this week, and that's gonna or the beginning of this week, and that's what's really gonna shape the next couple days. Were you willing to put in the time for yourself? Because a lot of people think this relaxation is about not doing anything, but sometimes it really does have to do with taking action. Like, it's not doing nothing. Like, that's not always self-care, is doing nothing. Sometimes it's doing something with the express purpose of serving yourself. So that's what I'm really seeing here. Like, maybe go all out. Maybe go to like Lush or something and buy a really nice bath bomb. Maybe do something you wouldn't normally do. And it doesn't have to be that expensive. Like, those bath bombs are maybe like $3 to $5. You don't have to be spending $200 on yourself to get like a nice manicure, pedicure. Maybe you want to, but it doesn't have to be that expensive. It can be a lot simpler. Like I said, even just make your bed and spend some time reading with like a candle lit or a candle app on your phone or something. I don't know. But make sure you're taking the time. It's really going to be imperative that we do that moving forward with this week. Alright, so now we have our last card. Oh my gosh. Queen of Cups. I think this might be maybe like I think this might be the most feminine reading that I've ever given, or honestly ever even seen given. How rare is it that you get a major arcana feminine card and 2 queens in a 3-card reading? So what is the Queen of Card offering? So maybe this has to do with because it is kind of our card of looking forward. I think this is gonna, I guess we could call this like an impact card. The impact of your decisions would have to do with creating an environment to nurture yourself, because it's a water card. It has to do more with your emotions as opposed to maybe like the fire card. So it's really that kind of like balance on both ends of the water and the fire. But looking forward, just kind of the outcome of this week is going to have to do with your mental health. This is a really strong like mental health, taking care of and nurturing yourself card. So it could also be seen as sort of again, like the pathway moving into different directions. You could either come out on top as this Queen of Cups figure where you're very aware of your surroundings and you're very aware of yourself, or it could come back to bite you where your emotions start to kind of like bubble under the surface and you start really seeing these shadows coming up. So I'm definitely getting a sense that you want to take care of this. Otherwise, the Queen of Cups is a very powerful card. You could be dealing with some very powerful shadows coming up if you don't make sure you're taking at least a little bit of time, or even just checking in with yourself, because I think those shadows are there, and that's not necessarily to say that that itself is a bad thing, but it is to say that if you do not take it seriously, you could suffer some consequences to that. So I think that's the major message of this. Make sure we are taking care of ourselves, we are looking inward, we are keeping an eye out for just kind of the goings on around. We're being more passively viewing than acting. I'm not always sure how I feel about the association with femininity with passivity. I don't know that that's where we're going, but with these 3 specific cards where all these women are just kind of like seated, they are observing, they are watching. That's not to say that they're never not ruling and taking action, but they are at least in the iterations of the vibes that I'm getting from this. You're striking that balance, because you are taking action to take care of yourself, but it's a very nurturing act, and it may not be of value to others, but it is of value to you. So there's definitely that message going forward. So make sure we are taking care of ourselves going into this week. That's the most important thing. Make sure you're keeping an eye out for any of these shadows that might be bubbling to the surface, because I think that could definitely affect us moving later into this week. But yeah, I'm going to keep this reading maybe a little bit shorter, but I think we have a really good start to this week. I think we are due in for some pampering and some really cool things moving in later of the week once we just kind of start with that really refreshing basis. Make sure you're taking time to just refresh, renew, even if it's only 5 minutes, even if you only have 5 minutes. That's totally okay. That little bit, just that pride you'll take in knowing you took a little bit of time to take care of yourself is really going to make a difference as you move forward into the week. So, alright, that's it for this Monday reading, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate having you here, and I will see you on Wednesday. Have a good one.